Willow plans the unthinkable, and Geo is in exactly the right place. Oh, darlings, this first story is one that is going to have you watching through your fingers, because we have reached the point in Willow's desperate spiral where the things she is considering have crossed from frightening into genuinely chilling. And the only thing standing between Drew and a fate he absolutely does not deserve is a young man who happens to be exactly where Willow never expected anyone to be. Let's talk about where things stand with Drew right now, because his recovery is accelerating in ways that are making Willow more frantic by the hour. His hands are moving. His feet are responding. And in a moment that stopped everyone watching cold, during this week's episode, Drew managed to get a single word out. Just one. But what a word it was. Willow. He said her name. Out loud. With a voice that has been silent for months. And in that one syllable was everything. Accusation, determination, the promise of a truth that is going to come out no matter how hard she works to prevent it. Willow knows this. She has always known this was coming eventually, but eventually has arrived. The paralytic is almost gone. Sidwell is behind bars. The black box containing the evidence she needed to keep Drew quiet has been found by someone, and that someone is almost certainly not anyone working in Willow's favor. She has no leverage. She has no supplier. She has no safety net. What she has is desperation. And desperation in someone who has already shot a man twice in the back and kept him chemically imprisoned for months is an extremely dangerous thing. The plan she has been turning over in her mind involves the Quartermain estate, the lake near the boathouse, a wheelchair, and a story about Drew's mental health benefiting from being near water. It is the kind of plan that sounds almost believable on the surface, a concerned wife bringing her husband somewhere peaceful, somewhere he always loved, and underneath it is something completely calculated and completely cold. She would will him to the edge. She would step away, and the chair would go into the water. She is not trained in water rescue. She would scream for help knowing, in her calculation, that nobody would hear her in time. Except Geo is there. Geo is always at the Quartermain house lately, visiting his mother, spending time with his baby sister. He is around a corner that Willow did not account for. And when he hears the cries for help, he does not stop to think about who Drew is, or what Drew has done, or whether Drew is someone worth saving. He just acts. Because that is who Geo is. He is a trained lifeguard. He goes in immediately. And he pulls Drew out. Willow's plan collapses in the most complete and humiliating way possible, undone by a young man who simply could not walk past someone in trouble. And Drew, pulled from that water, alive, owes his life to the most unexpected hero imaginable. The wrench Geo throws into Willow's plans is not just about this moment. It is about everything that comes after, because Drew surviving this means the truth is still coming. And now Drew has one more witness to add to the growing list of people who know that something is very wrong in that house. Liesl goes to war with the WSB, and the mystery of Cassius deepens. Now, darlings, let us talk about Liesl, because this woman's fury has reached a level that is absolutely going to shake the walls of every room she walks into this week. She has been patient enough. She has asked questions through the right channels. She has tried to go through Nina, through connections, through whatever diplomatic avenues seemed available. And she has gotten nothing. Not an answer. Not an acknowledgement. Not even the basic human dignity of being told where her son's body is. The WSB's official story holds. Cassius is gone. The cover-up is clean, or at least it appears clean to everyone except the people who were actually there. Jocelyn and Valentine both know the hero narrative around the events on Spoon Island is constructed rather than true. But neither of them knows what actually happened to Cassius after Z checked his pulse and walked past him. That information is buried somewhere in the classified machinery of an organization that has no interest in sharing it. What Liesl knows, what she feels in her bones as a doctor and as a mother, is that something about this does not add up. The WSB will not release a body. Nobody will tell her where Cassius was taken. The morgue has no record of him. And an organization this powerful, this deliberate about managing narratives, does not misplace a body. They hide things. They classify things. They make things disappear on purpose. She notices something about Nina's relationship with Jack that she cannot quite categorize. Nina has always had complicated taste in men. Liesel has opinions about this that she does not entirely keep to herself, but this particular closeness feels like it might be useful. If Jack has any remaining credibility inside the WSB, any ability to pull a string or ask a question that gets a real answer, that is worth exploring. But Liesel is also not waiting. She goes to the WSB office herself. She finds Jack, and she lets him have it. Not cruelly, but with the full force of a mother who has been refused a basic human right and has simply run out of patience. Jack is genuinely not unsympathetic. He understands what she is asking for. He also cannot give it to her because when he tries to get answers himself, he hits the same wall Liesel keeps hitting. Z is not talking. Cassius's location is classified at a level that even the station chief cannot access. Wherever Cassius was taken after that pier, it was not the hospital morgue. It was not any facility Jack can trace. It went somewhere deep and dark and deliberately off the official record. And that, darlings, is the most significant detail in this entire storyline. Because organizations do not classify the location of dead bodies. They classify the location of assets they intend to use again. The question of whether Cassius is truly gone or whether the WSB has him somewhere, for reasons of their own, very much alive, is getting louder with every episode that passes without a real answer. Jack's dark suggestion, and a mystery man finds the black box. And now, darlings, we close this week with a development that is going to reshape several storylines simultaneously because the black box that everyone has been hunting for, the one that contains evidence capable of destroying multiple lives in multiple directions, has been found. And the person who found it is almost certainly not working in Willow's interests. Let us back up and appreciate just how central this box has become to everything happening right now. Jack originally had it for very specific reasons. It contained files, records, evidence that he kept hidden for his own protection. Ross took it when he took over Jack's office, found it, but could not open it. After Ross died, the box ended up somewhere on Spoon Island. Z went looking for it immediately after arriving on the scene, which tells you how valuable its contents are. And now, in this week's episode, a figure finds it and takes it. The leading theory, and it is a compelling one, is that Valentine has it. Valentine was on Spoon Island. Valentine has every reason to want information that could be used as leverage or protection in a city where his safety is far from guaranteed. And Valentine finding a box full of evidence that could affect people ranging from Willow to Jack to potentially others connected to the WSB, that is an enormous amount of power to suddenly be holding quietly. What Valentine does with it, who he tells, and how quickly it affects the situations already in motion are questions that are going to drive significant plot movement in the weeks ahead. Meanwhile, back in the house where Drew is slowly, steadily fighting his way back, Willow is being pushed from multiple directions toward the edge of something she keeps telling herself she will not cross. Jack made a comment. Possibly sarcastic, possibly not. He told her she could always just end it, as though that were a simple option rather than a monstrous one. But it landed. Because for Willow right now, with every other option closing off and Drew saying her name out loud and the paralytic supply nearly exhausted, that suggestion is taking up more space in her thinking than she wants to admit. Drew, meanwhile, has been quietly gathering allies in the most heartbreaking way imaginable. When Michael brought the children to visit and little Amelia wandered toward his door and waved, Drew waved back. And when Wiley started to say something, Drew made a gentle shushing gesture, protecting them, not from himself but from knowing what is happening. Still thinking about the children even in the middle of everything being done to him. That is who Drew Kane is. That is the man Willow is considering silencing permanently. And Geo diving into that lake to pull him out is the universe's way of saying, not today.
Drew is going to tell the truth eventually.
The black box is in hands that may very well use it. Liesel is not backing down from anyone or anything. And Geo, who wanted nothing to do with any of this, is now a witness, a hero, and a very important piece of a story that is finally moving toward the light. Port Charles is at a turning point this week, darlings. Multiple secrets reaching the moment where they simply cannot hold any longer. Multiple people pushing toward the truth from different directions. And one young man who jumped into cold water without thinking twice, changing the entire course of what comes next.